Hi, this is Mia. It is Friday. I did not get a chance to do my filming this morning. It is almost a quarter to 10. I did not wake up early enough, or I did, and I was doing my, I guess I was doing looking at news and, inbox dollars. So I was just thinking about two things. One is the disparity of being a very poor, struggling person without not any support, no family support, very little family support, no community support, no friends, no investors, no community program like nonprofits or government. I get denied SBA loans. I get denied every kind of thing. So anyways, they had disbanded that COVID funding. Anyways, I had a electronic health record. It wasn't a grant, but it was a, what do you call it? Incentive. And I needed about 1 to 3 people a year to open their electronic device, sign up for my patient portal, and look at their chart, or like their summary or lab results, diagnostic codes, and look at, or send me a message. Even I said text message. For 5 years, I did not get the funding because I couldn't get anybody, 1 to 3 people a year, 365 days. Nobody would do the message for me. And a lot of these people I had seen in clinic since 2016, didn't get paid a penny because they did not have the right insurance, and they would not change their insurance, and they would not tell their primary care provider, this is Dr. Mia, here's her card, send a referral or whatever. So I've been suffering and I finally had someone to do email, but there was something else missing. I forgot to check reconciliation of a patient because they were not seen for a couple years, and I didn't realize that there was that time period that was calling them a new patient, so I didn't say reconcile. That was one checkbox in the chart would have given me over $8,000 that year. One checkbox in the chart that I didn't even know they had added. Another year, I had someone send an email, and they changed it from just sending an email to doing it within 4 days of your appointment. Oh my gosh. So most of my patients were illiterate, don't have cell phones, don't have computer, don't have email addresses. I had to ask their children, 13-year-olds, to do this if they had an email account. And it was really embarrassing because I did not get the funding, and I was having to work at Pizza Hut and do all the stuff. And I kept telling myself, forget about the funding. Forget about this government thing. So basically, if you see greater than, 60% or 50% or 80%, so 100% of my patients were Medicaid. I had a couple that were Medicare that didn't really hire me. One goes to all these doctors all over the place, and they saw my paper, says, no, I'm not going to sign up to allow you to use my charts and electronic health records because of a potential for data breach. You're on every kind of network, all these other doctors and hospitals and stuff you go to. So that was somebody that had English as a first language, internet, and a smartphone. But they refused to be put in the EHR, so there's no way. And if they found out, one year I had people do this stuff, and I said I went to somebody's house, and I had to write on paper and then go home and do the notes and go back to my office. I said that, and they say, nope, you don't qualify. You're not allowed to take notes on paper. And it was home health. I didn't have internet. I didn't have Wi-Fi data, hotspot. So I used the money for the first year, and I bought the iPad, and I've been paying a buttload of money for Verizon. In fact, I feel like calling him right now. I'm not even going to call him right now. I'm not going to waste my time. Hold on, I just spilled one of these. They tear out your fingernails, but also feel like you step on them. Does it feel too good? This pistachio seeds, nuts. So what is it when you're a small clinic and you can't get I think it was 5% of your patient population, and then you didn't know about the check. So it's not like sometimes you enter a website, they're like, look what's new, or hey, this is required by these incentive programs or these MIPS programs. Like, make sure you click this box. So I didn't know what reconciliation, and I was like, oh, whatever it was, I didn't click it. Close the chart. You had to close the chart out in a timely manner. You had to see a great percent of, I think it was only 50 or 60%, but I saw like 199 to 100% Medicaid. I was serving an underserved population. They didn't allow you to have a waiver for the internet because you had to be like some Alaskan island where they had a low bandwidth. And they refused. I said, I had also 1 year, I had homeless people. One person had their phone stolen. They didn't have an internet. They were couch surfing. I had some other people in the community. They didn't have internet. Don't have money to replace their phone. Aren't going to go to the library. I had one lady. She wanted me to do something. I said, "Can you go to the library and look at my forms or look it on your smartphone?" Like, oh, I don't have data. Oh, I have to use my kids. Like, oh my God. Like, this is for something else. But I'm like, I can't. You're not volunteering. Like, if you look at my intake paperwork and I'm doing my exercises and see if there's any typos or see how, like, just highlight stuff that looks weird to you. You don't even have to fix it. Just that looks weird. Highlighter, and that person's like, no, I'm not leaving my house. Like, you're not leaving your house. Well, if you're not volunteering, like, I told her I would send her the freaking papers in the mail, print them out, mail them, send a stamp address, self-addressed stamped envelope. Like, you send it back to me. Like, you don't need the internet. Like, no, I'm not going to do it. Oh my God. So I can't force people. I was struggling with people that were on drugs and recovery, severely disabled, houseless, no internet, in this population in a metropolitan city. The providers that are getting all the money have these big clinics. They're already raking in incentives. Federal qualified health clinic, tier 1, tier 2, this and this, rural health clinic, getting all kinds of money. They're getting all kinds of insurance. They're able to hire a reception. They're able to have these fancy buildings and billing people and hire a specialist to do this. Make sure your doctors are turning their charts in the same day. Make sure that they're signing people up. And so I end up someone was charging $600 or $1,000 to do the program. I should have hired them, or to help your clinic. But how do you do that? You still can't force them to look at your EHR. What I think is that they should give you're signed up with the prescription drug. I don't think it was a prescription drug, but you're signed up for like the communicable disease reporting, all these reporting system. What is the other one? Immunization reporting system. I don't give those in my clinic, so I always have a problem with that question. I don't have a clinic big enough for people to come in every day or once a week or once every 2 weeks where I have a fridge and freezer full of meds, injections that cost thousands of dollars that have to be used in a timely manner, whether that's individual dose or a vial, a bigger vial. So there's all these different things that even if you're friends with other colleagues in the same field, you can go in and split the box. Whether you work at the same facility or you work at 2 different sides of town, you can go in and split the box and pay. And then those people also will get incentive from the Medicaid for doing the prescription. I don't know if it has to be only for the children, but at least for the children, possibly the adults. For the standard vaccination, just have to mark all your Medicaid patients and you get reimbursed. Or you get an incentive for doing that. So I give a lot of injections to people that were getting funding from the government because they had got grandfathered in, had a clinic, and had a place that they didn't need an inspection from DHS or from, Oregon Health Plan that's going to lie and say that your clinic's not good enough because you don't have the sink in your room. You have the sink outside of your room. In fact, you have 2 sinks right outside your door. And when I volunteered at the hospital, they said your number 1 cleaning was an alcohol-based cleaning, like gel thing, And then number 2, like this was the fine print. Number 2 was actually hand washing, which you saw your hands are soiled. So it's like I had plenty of hand sanitizer in there. I also had a sink. I'm a germaphobe. I also have wipes. It's like I can go to 1,000 doctor's offices and sit there and see a sink in the room. But how many times do you actually see a healthcare provider washing their hands? You'd be lucky if they use some sanitizer, and you're going to go from room to room to room with sanitizer, and it's like whatever, they could have scabies. Like, I don't know what's going to survive the cracks of your fingers, I feel like that's the problem. I'm going to wash my hands outside my treatment room and come back in. Even in my medical school, we had a bunch of rooms that were really small, so they had a sink out in the hallway. They got the funding, they got the qualified thing. Anyways, it's a disparity. The person that did my inspection, there was 2 white women. One was super mean. The sub was training the new employee. Super mean. Both of them were super racist. And they made fun of my clinic, and they lied through their teeth on the report. They said I didn't have guide supplies. They said I didn't have all this stuff. I had all that stuff. I had a wedge. I had speculums. I had the lube. I had the brushes for the pap smears. I had the little vials with the preservative for the pap smears, to lab order forms, to Quest and LabCorp. Hold on. So I decided to move on. I can't depend on these programs that I qualify for. I don't know anyone that has 100% Medicaid. And if you do, like say you're an acupuncturist or something, most insurances pay acupuncturists, chiropractors, midwives. I gotta stand on my feet. Cash works. And you make sure you get yourself a blue light pen or a blue light, black light. What do you call it? Black light pen. Make sure you check and make sure that stuff's not, what's that pen? Anyways, to make sure it's not, I was gonna say fraudulent. Make sure it's not counterfeit. That's the truth too, guys. I heard that these people I hung out with, I hung out with these people's son. I heard they left a house where I grew up in Michigan, a small town, and they had left the house and they found all this counterfeit money inside the house, and I was like, what in the world? I used to think that these people were related to an actress because they had the same, like, body, face type, and hair color and last name. I was like, oh my gosh, you never know. But I used to wonder. I was from a small town, and I think, oh, it's a small world, Okay, so part 2, talking about my medical, what happens when you are under 21, or 21 or under, you're still an adult. What happens if you're not thinking and your mom's dying and you get pulled over? Are you're holding your drive from Michigan to Chicago, and you get into town to go to a party, and you end up having to use the bathroom, and every place says no public restrooms, and you don't have any, even if you thought you could buy gas or water, there's nowhere that you think is big enough that has a bathroom. That happened to me when I was doing the things that the sign said no public restroom, and the other manager was like, go use the bathroom, because I was like working the store for over 2 hours on an island, 45 minutes away from home. So I already drove 45 minutes, and I'm working 2 to 3 hours. I could work 4 or 5 hours, but they're like, you can't use our bathroom. What? I'm not the public. I'm working here. I am contracted by your management and your corporation to be doing work inside of your store, jerk. And there's a gas station or fast food, which I feel obligated that I should buy something. It's not right for me to be using up their bathroom, even though, thank God, I try not to be messing up anything or throwing toilet paper and boogers and female products all over the nasty. place. People, I went to the outlets the other day, just trash. I was praying for the people that clean those bathrooms, guys. Don't take that for granted. When you go in there in the morning, it smells like cleaning chemicals. I gotta get my exercises, guys. So I'm super anxious. The full moon is up. I don't know if it's actually a full moon day, but it looked big in this window. Part 2. Went to Illinois, ended up in the suburbs, went into the bathroom. My partner told me don't go in the bathroom together with my best friend. We went in together because I had to go really bad, and we were washing our face and getting changed in there, so we brought our bags in. The cops were there within like 5 minutes, banging on the door like a cop. I was washing my face. I had to pee for like 6 hours or 3 hours or whatever, like crazy. We had to get on the highway to get there. We needed gas, we needed water, we needed gum, we needed a toilet. We were planning on paying for the gas, paying for everything else. The freaking wait lady saw me and a gay blonde dude coming in together, and I didn't realize how tall my friend is, 6 foot, whatever. Saw us coming in there. Cops are like, why are you all dressed up? Like, dressed up? These are my regular clothes. Like, my mama, everyone's mama from my olden days was telling us, you go out, you present yourself a certain way, dressed up. This is how I dress. Anyway, dressed up, I really want these nuts. I'm stress eating. So I had could have been a misdemeanor, could have been a felony, turned into a misdemeanor, back to a felony. I went and I forgot about I did a share on step 7 or step 6. Made a list of all persons we had harmed. Became willing to make amends to them all. I had made amends. Having my counselor, my drug alcohol counselor place was closing. I had them say, this is your now or never. You've been in this place for over 2 years. How this person, she's retiring. This place is getting bought up. Just like every place, every small, nice medical place is getting bought up by a big corporation. And they're shutting places down and they're cleaning out the good providers. And they said, no, you can't give gifts anymore. They used to give us candles, and we used to read little meditation books and stuff. But what do you do? What do you do when, anyways, what do you do when that happens? You say, do I call? I thought I was going to call, that they were going to trace my phone and come and arrest me, put my kids in foster care. So you have a warrant from, 7 years ago, whatever, from the 90s. So this was 2006 or 7 or something. So I think it was 2006. So I found out could go to Illinois and turn myself in because I did not get any warrants. I did not get any arrive at court. I went to court. They said, you can't just be here in court. You need to come back with a lawyer. I was like, nobody telling me. There's police told me to come to this court date when I got released. And they gave me my car back. And anyways, to make a long story short, 2 things. 1, I was not able to get this expunged. 2, the case from the 90s, and when I turned myself in the 07, 06, and then I had a 1-year conditional discharge. When that happened, somehow it doubled the case of attempted possession of a controlled substance. Was what that ended up being as a misdemeanor. It was supposed to be a felony, maybe because I didn't go back to court. My mother had died right after this happened. The other person, my ex, was also in trouble. His mother died a week before my mom in May of 1998. This happened, I think, in February or January. Like the moms were in hospice. It was crazy. Oh my God. We were abused. His mom, I don't say his mom abused him, but his mom was really mean. My mom was abusive, so it was hard to have that love-hate with somebody who you think's gonna live, but then they just get sent home in hospice. So I end up having the lawyers be able to help me get the records sealed, but they only did 1 set of the records. I think the original ones, and the second duplicate one, the same case, the court's like, you can't have that sealed because we only allow 1. It's like, you have 1 offense, so we're going to let this, like, you get one chance. Here comes my partner. So I need to call the court or the lawyer. Someone said, in so many years, you come back and you can get this expunged. I went to Lariah and Hubbard the guy, I went in a prayer circle. I told people I got a book of papers, letters from a taekwondo coach, someone from an NA meeting. I started getting meeting slips without being asked. I was already going to a lot of meetings. I was told by counseling at treatment center that you're going to too many meetings. They pulled me out in the hall. You're going to too many meetings. I'm sitting in there clean and sober, and these people around me aren't going to meetings, or they're doing the bare minimum, and they're relapsing all the time, and they're struggling. I was struggling. I was dragging my kids. I had left my husband. I was married. At that point, I had been married for 10 years, was working on divorce, separation, going to college, and I ended up getting kicked off of welfare because I went to Illinois to turn myself in because I found out there was a warrant for my arrest. I turned myself in, flew on an airplane, forgot my court clothes. My son got sick, and they cut me off welfare, so I refused to work because I was out of town to go turn myself in.